It literally looks like so many looters that it's stalling the save game, like the save game is going through trying to count them all to register it for future episodes. It's good we get an autosave before this, because who knows what's going to happen here, and we want to continue this series. This is a great opportunity. We are absolutely, completely surrounded by hostile forces. There are looters, there are brigands, there are sea raiders, and there are huge armies of forest bandits as we continue this series. Now, I'm actually hoping this guy gets caught up by these looters, because I want some help. Of course, if you haven't seen the first episode of this series, you're very confused right now. We are having some fun here with the adjustable bandit mod, and we're going to try to have an epic battle. Our channel is known for epic battles, and we're seeking to have an epic battle against basically your looter / bandit classes. Look at this out here. There's 5,000, 6,000, 3,000, and just for some extra fun, we have the reinforcement system added on here. Now, before this episode, I declared peace with the Botanians. That way, we could have a little bit of help here. Our first episode, we were successful against thousands of looters, but this is a whole nother animal here, right? These are forest bandits, so we're talking archers. This is going to be nasty, and on top of that, they're very likely to get reinforcements. Now, we've rebuilt the army after that ugly first episode, but we do have a bunch of lower level troops, right? It's no longer the perfect Bannerlord army. It's kind of the wounded but still pretty tough Bannerlord army. Now, this guy is clearly going to engage here, the looters. Oh, shit. No. Let's see. I think we can engage him, and he'll be forced to join because he's right there. Come on. Yeah, he got sucked into it. So fight me if you dare. We dare. It actually says we're favored here. Of course, between us and the Botanians, we almost have more troops than them, but there's a high likelihood of reinforcements because we're using the reinforcement mod, and we need a different banner. That decreased melee taken damage banner is good against looters, but we need this ranged taken banner, decreased range taken banner, because we are going to look like a pincushion here. Again, welcome back again to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment. Our YouTube channel is dedicated to all things Bannerlord, including having some fun. Now, these episodes won't be devoid of tactics or gameplay, intelligent gameplay, but these are absolutely just for fun exhibitions here to see. Here they are. Look at, there's a huge horde of them in the forest, just to kind of see how this works, right? Very dynamic mods working together here. A high-end PC. Hopefully uploaded this in 4K graphics. We're shooting this in 4K graphics, and we're going to be shot here in 4K graphics by thousands, literally thousands of forest bandits and other units. Now, with these two mods, they won't have purely forest bandits, right? You can expect to see, they have like chosen wolves or something like that, and I think they have some of the forester units too, right? The forest people or whatever. They have some unusual units as part of their army, so their army is going to be a little bit of a mix, but no infantry, no cavalry. And I say this too often, but however, right, other forces may join here, including potentially looters, including potentially sea raiders, because in the game's eye, all bandits are essentially allied together, which means that all allied forces, us, the Botanians, anybody else, caravans that want to join, are free to join this gigantic, chaotic scrum today. So we're going to take a flank. We're going to let our Botanian allies here get shot in the face while we get all the glory, right? We're going to try to get a good angle overseeing the whole battle, and then just rain in arrows from the side. We're definitely going to try to use cavalry to block some arrows here, and we'll see how this goes. Keep an eye out for reinforcements, right? It's very likely. Now, we don't have very many troops because we have a small share of the total forces in the army here, right? Out of 2,500, we only have about 400, right? So we're getting an appropriately small amount of troops, but to quote Shakespeare, though we be little, we be fierce, right? We're going to get some nasty angles on the enemy here and rain in some savage enfilade fire. And of course, Hugh the Hammer is going to illustrate his name in this episode. We will be on foot. We're going to ride on horse a lot, of course, and do some beheading here with our savage glaive. We will smash some bandits to a pulp with a hammer too, right? This is going to be interesting. I say this all the time, but it's appropriate. Strap yourself in if you enjoy a good spectacle, and that's all these are, right? This has no bearing whatsoever on anything you see in Bannerlord. I like to have fun sometimes, right? Bannerlord, especially the channel, tends to be a little bit academic almost, right? We are approaching battle. from a scientific perspective. Reminds me of Strat Gaming Guide. Sometimes it can be a little tiring just to run tests all day, just to learn all the meta of the game. Sometimes you just want to get your hands dirty and smash some guys with your hammer. That's what we're going to do here today. I don't mean that negatively. You guys know all the time I say good things about Strat. That guy is absolutely dedicated to the fine details of every game I've ever seen him do a review for. And as always, I encourage you to check out his channel. Him and I don't have any affiliation. We don't have any kind of rivalry or anything like that. I just happily recommend other Bannerlord content that I find out there that is helpful. I think our channels are very different, but I think we both offer you guys plenty of things to help your game at Bannerlord. All right, that little plug aside, we're going to start moving up our troops here, but I continue to be sort of hesitating, right? There's a huge amount of reinforcements that just came in, and you don't want to be in the eye of the hurricane of 600 forest bandits, right? These guys will destroy your archers, right? Your archers really want to be tucked into little spots where they have opportunities to get line of sight on a couple guys over here and 12 guys over there. I didn't mean to do that, sorry. But if you get into the thick of it right there, those guys will completely decimate your archers. We could try our horse archers up on this little ridge here, but you can hear the arrows whizzing past me. And it's always a good idea to do the scouting yourself, right? Kind of see what they're up against. They're starting to come our way, too. They're starting to assess us as a threat. Although most of them are still here in the river, minus an arm. Now, not much more deadly weapon against archers than a strong horse with a fast glaive, right? You just go through here like a weed whacker, cutting down all the dandelions. Whatever you don't cut in half with your glaive gets trampled. We could drill some guys here with our javelins. I don't give a shit about these Battanian units too, right? A perfect case example right there. If they get in the way, they can catch one too. They get in my way here. Hugh the Hammer gives no fucks. This guy was part of one of our rebel campaigns, right? Our Asurai peasant revolt. So killing nobles is practically in his blood. Might even be his middle name. Hugh the rebel killing hammer. I love the reinforcement note for that too. They go for the hammer, right? They say for Hugh the Hammer, but when units come in to support us, that's what it says. For the hammer. I fucking love that. It's great. Now, we are going to get dirty with our hammer at some point because this back area is what's vulnerable. See how tightly packed they are? That means they can't shoot. In fact, this is a good point for less experienced players. You're actually way more vulnerable on a horse here than you are on foot because every guy can see you, right? You're standing above the fray. They just tilt their bow back a little bit and you get smoked. You're actually better off in situations like that being on foot because as long as you have decent athleticism and some good understanding of your character movement, you just bob and weave, right? And you're just going to carve a path. It's about time for that here. They're starting to rout. Our enemy forces are reaching their front, right? This is your time to get in here and get dirty. So we'll get a little bit of support. I like to have a little bit of support with me here. If you got 2, 3, 4, even 10 forces with you, something small like that, that's enough for it to make an impact. And what I mean by that is that the enemy's not teeing up on you. They have other targets, and the person who's looking the other way is the person smashed to pieces by his hammer. So bring a little horse archers in here in the back, set off some units behind him here, and it's time to just start clubbing these little expert foresters. Teach these guys a lesson here. Well, die, you bastard! Now, these horsemen actually in my way, you want them just to attack. And infantry's best here, right? It's best to actually just have a little bodyguard division of 7, 8 guys that are following you. It's very effective. Guys ask all the time, do you do that? Absolutely, right? If you're going to fight on foot a lot, get yourself 5, 6, 7, 10 at most, maybe, infantry, and have them follow you the whole battle. That way, if you're starting to get mauled, simply backpedal, and they will be between you and your foes, right? You all of a sudden have basically bodyguards. And that's historical examples of that are plentiful too. Napoleon had all kinds of bodyguards. Other famous leaders almost always had like a royal division. Now I think javelins on foot are actually a negative, right? Because you're so vulnerable to arrow fire. I'm better off here just smashing my way through them with my hammer. But this enemy is breaking. I think they're actually dying so fast, we're not getting reinforcements, which I admit is actually a bummer, right? I'm not concerned as much about winning these battles as much as having a gnarly spectacle. Now, that whole time I was trying to hit a guy in the neck, and the one guy I hit in the neck was our troops. I am famous for my javelin use and hitting our own troops. It's not a cocky statement. It's how bad my accuracy is with javelins. I'm very, very good. Elite. Actually, I'm the best on YouTube at killing my own troops. So there. You won't even accept an argument. What do you think of that, bitches? Call you guys bitches here as you support our YouTube channel. Of course, everybody understands at this stage that I hugely appreciate all the support for our YouTube channel. You guys are the only reason I'm here. You guys and gals. Says 4.6% of you are women. I don't know if I buy that number, and a lot of the guys that chime in are usually like, hell no. There's a whole bunch of men just putting women on there. Okay, I don't have any idea why you would do that, but people do what they do. They do all kinds of weird things, right? Some men act like women, and some women act like men, and some frogs act like women, and all kinds of stuff. We will not get political on the channel. I will say I'm a tolerant fella. If that gives you an idea of my political beliefs, I basically believe that let bygones be bygones. There's people that like to have, there's women and men that like to have the guy sit on the woman's lap in a diaper and they bottle feed him. I'm not going to just go into a 40-minute rant about sexual fetishes, but I don't care. Guys want to do that, and it's consensual, have a blast, right? You want to do weird shit or something that I perceive as weird. Maybe you think I'm weird because, you know, I have traditional sex. That's fine. I don't give a shit. Do what you're going to do. Doesn't affect me. And that is about as political as I get on these episodes. All right, I think we have forced these Botanians into another battle, and we might have bit off more than we can chew here. Not only does the power bar favor them, 4,000 forest bandits, but there is a huge army of forest bandits nearby us here. And what a perfect battlefield to take these guys on, right? We have multiple, take your choice, right? We have multiple ridges here to apply a peekaboo ridge, reverse slope decline defense. If you guys have never seen that, you're about to learn, because this is going to be a lengthy, gnarly shooting fest, right? If Tombstone, if the bad guys had a reverse slope decline, they would have annihilated Wyatt Earp and all his punks. Reverse slope decline is by far one of the best terrain tactics in all of Bannerlord, and I will explain as we get this episode on. My random song track plays an irrelevant song for the Khazate. There's no Khazate here, you stupid ass non-algorithmic playlist, but I digress. All right, so multiple ridges here. The concept is relatively simple. Now, I don't know what our ally is going to do. It's going to somewhat depend on what they do, because they have, again, the bulk of the forces here. Probably 80% of the forces on the field are our ally. However, if they don't just barrel up there, if we fight in this valley, we are going to hold this left side, and that is because that steep ridge in front of us is going to prevent their archers from seeing us. Now, when they want to see us, they're going to climb up onto that top of that ridge, and we will simply annihilate them with arrow fire. We're going to have to conserve ammo in this battle. In fact, initially, we'll probably have 2 or 3 units at most shooting, right? And I'm doing that because it might be a half hour or an hour-long battle, right? Strap yourself in again. I recognize these could be 2 separate episodes. Some of these, where are they? There's our ally. Okay, our ally's taken a not terrific but not horrible position. And here they come, right? Just hundreds of forest bandits and archers. This is going to be a different battle than that last slaughter. Not only, god damn, gravity. Fucking gravity, piece of shit. My horse just carelessly jumps off the fucking edge and causes a bunch of damage. We're outnumbered here, and the likelihood of reinforcements is high. Now, these guys are being shelled already. The reason I said it's not a great position is look at that. They're just letting the enemy scorch them. If they had our position down here, we would be ripping the enemy apart, or at least we would be in this battle. And you will observe that over the course of this battle. We'll see how we do for a KDR. Now, they are already starting to come up, and you saw how quickly that guy shot. I mean, these guys are locked and loaded as they come over the ridge. So I was going to go over the ridge and try to flank them, but let's just hold this position now, and we'll kind of slowly start to open up the spigot on how many units are shooting. When there's 20 guys like that, you don't want everybody shooting, because you'll waste all your ammo, right? There are 4,000 forest bandits and every other archers that are here. I think they have, again, chosen wolves or something like that. These are from mods. Of course, this whole episode is basically a mod showcase. There's 2 different mods. I mentioned it in the first episode. We'll mention it here. There's 2 different mods that are working beautifully together. The first one's called Adjustable Bandits. That's highly adjustable on everything from how many bandit armies are running around the battlefield to, as you can see, how large their armies are. In this case, they have literal armies of bandits. I've seen 30,000 looters in an army so far, so there doesn't seem to really be an upper limit. The upper limit is kind of insane. The other bandit mod we're using is called Dangerous Bandits, and all it is simply a file that replaces one of the files in your module. It's not actually a whole module itself. It's basically just whatever they're called, an XML file or something like that, that replaces one of the original ones. And what it does is make the bandit parties more dynamic. The looters are probably the most obvious case. Not only do they have looters, but they have spear cavalry and archers. They have, it's actually a horse archer. It's called a mounted pillager. And so instead of just fighting all looters, you've got all this variability to it. Here they have 3, maybe 4 or 5 different kinds of archers in these forest bandit armies. So not only is the size of their army huge, but it's much more difficult than a normal bandit army. Normal bandit army with forest bandits has like those bootlickers and whatever the fuck. One of them has no shoes, a bushwhacker and some shit like that, and they're really weak units. Not the case anymore, right? These are tier 3, tier 4 minor clans. They will fuck you up. The foresters I actually like. I'll recruit those to my army. Like if there's a, if I'm in a campaign and I get some prisoners, I'll take them. Right? They have 2 quivers. They shoot pretty good arrows. They can't fight at all, but that's not what you want them for, right? That's what you have a palace guard and an imperial elite Manavliaton. All right, the next wave is coming up here, and we want them to come to us, right? You're not going to see me barrel forward. You're going to see us conserve ammo here. I'm getting smoked. 47 in the head, too, right? And I have all kinds of elite perks that reduce damage, and they're still shredding me with arrows. You got to be very careful here. Our horse is bleeding all over the place. I'm going to start to form more of a central defense here with the rest of our troops because our allies are fighting pretty well. What I mean by that is they are shooting pretty well. They really should be menacing the enemy with all these cavalry, right? They have hundreds of cavalry just over here standing there with the shield. Since they're not doing anything, we'll just remove that guy's horse. Fucking dipshit AI. And they should be getting their infantry up there to menace and or kill these bandits. But I digress, right? We're not going to make fun of the AI all episode, even though we could do that every episode. Might even have a whole series where we do nothing but comment on how bad the A is in this battle and how bad it is on that battle. It's astonishing sometimes. Shit. Okay, wait. This is allies joining the battle. That's not, though. That's definitely the enemy joining with more reinforcements. I don't know how much it is, right? The reinforcement system is nebulous. You're not really sure if it's 150 bandits or 15,000, and I like that feature. You will probably observe that power bar has vanished. That's something I'm starting to do more and more because I like the suspense. I don't know how many troops there are, and the power bar can be misleading anyways, so we'll just simply fucking remove it. Bye-bye, power bar. There's occasionally a guy who's like, I don't like that. I want to be able to know. Well, sorry, fellas. I'm in charge of the channel. I tell you what, for $10 million, if anybody wants to dictate how I run this channel, I will give you my Venmo. My wife and I will then give 95% of it away to charity because we think that large amounts of money turns people into evil fucks. Anybody who's read The Hobbit knows that wealth generally corrupts. If power corrupts, money absolutely corrupts, right? And you can see that in our billionaire classes and the other corrupt fucks that are out there. What's amazing, too, is that you can see it sociologically, like in a psychiatric study, the amount of people who commit Ponzi schemes when they have already, in some cases, hundreds of millions of dollars, right? They could literally just go get a trophy wife, 10 mistresses, travel anywhere they want, huge yacht, 12 homes, eat at every nice restaurant. Look at these guys. That second division is just absorbing arrows. Break in on my little rant here. Good job, boys. And they're doing that to save the other units, right? You put a shield wall of cavalry there, and they eat like 200 arrows. That would kill your other troops. Anyway, so you get these people who commit Ponzi schemes, and over and over you see this. You don't see it once or twice in some strange mental illness. Hundreds of them, right? Watch the show American Greed. It's a really good show that talks about scams. It'll help you identify scams in your own life, right? Whether it's your relatives or something like that. These Ponzi schemes are rampant out there. I can do 20 or 30 seconds on a Ponzi scheme here if this battle slows down, or if it just continues to be sort of this never-ending archer spam. But what's amazing, I find amazing about the psychological tendency for these ultra-rich people, they're already set, right? They've already won. They went to the casino and fucking won. And they still commit fraud and end up going to jail because 100 million's not enough. These stupid fucks want 200 or 900 or 6 billion. That is how you know that for many people, just like alcohol, it corrupts them. Right? Just like power. You get these fucking corrupt dipshit mayors who just start to break the law and fucking paying people off and shit like that. Human being is a highly faulty animal. Now the Allies charging here, we're going to pour in as well. Try to blast through the middle of these troops. You get one of my little rants there. That was basically me saying, even if I won the lottery, a lot of people don't believe me. Say I won one of those stupid $100 million Powerballs, my wife and I would just give 98% of it away. We'd give it to charity, we'd give it to friends, the friends of ours who have to do blue-collar jobs they hate for the next 60 years. We would give them all $250,000, $500,000 each. We would spread it around. Because I can't really use $100 million without buying shit that's ridiculous. My own private island and 28 fucking Bentleys or whatever the fuck. And there's all kinds of people that could put that money to better use. Right? So just in case there's some ultra rich guy who likes my philosophy, I will leave my Venmo on the video description here if you want to see. Actually, if you want to just see me prove that, right? You give me $100 million, I will give $99 million away. That's a promise. That is binding. You can sue me if I don't do it. Something tells me there's no billionaire, $100 million person watching this, but, just in case there is. And we have crushed these guys. Now, they're going to have more waves, and the reinforcements remain nebulous, but we obliterated them, right? That was really good timing there to charge while our ally charged. Of course, our ally has all kinds of cavalry and infantry, and between that and our forces, the enemy is just streaming off the map here. They got destroyed. Now, I'm going to take the defensive position here as our enemy starts to rout. Some of my favorite sounds in all of Bannerlord. Save yourself! We can't stop them! All the different voice acting, I think is hilarious. Help! All these little peasants yelling help. I can picture some guy with a little microphone in a little studio or at his computer. We can't stop them! And in some ways, I want to be part of the next Tail World's sound team. We're getting destroyed! Run! Right? Just make some fucking hilarious sounds for them to add. Alright, it's time to move our forces up aggressively. Look at all these fucking forces pouring up here. We're going over a Peekaboo Ridge, so we're really about to take some serious death spam. But let's take advantage of that. Our ally's gonna die for our cause. Let's put archers up high. I'm gonna get a horse here whenever these fucks get to me. And we're gonna start to push through them with cavalry, with infantry. 800 horse bandits and whatnot down in the valley there. Get off your fucking horse. If you don't get off your horse soon, I'll kill you. And guys are like, oh, you should have been a general, or you should be a governor. I love your philosophies on life. Dude, I'm just as tyrannical as everybody else. You put me in charge and I'll be like mandating this shit and have 28 mistresses. You guys think I'm not prone to the same shit that humankind is? Nah, that's why even Napoleon fucked it all up even when he had everything made. The human species is not designed for civilization. We're designed to have a garden and shoot deer and live like an aboriginal life. We're not designed to have power over millions of other people. We fuck it up every time. And science and history has proven that. Now that you guys are all depressed, we are at least winning this battle, right? We're going to use some fucking authoritarianism, violence here, shove our way in, and it's time for some hammer time here, right? There's a thin line of troops here. We're going to menacingly swing our fists at them, get a little bit of help on this flank, and I bet I can almost single-handedly, with my big ego, make this enemy rout, right? We're going to put those archers up on the ridge. Just a few units is all I need here to distract, and we're just going to fucking bore in here. Get up there, horse archers. Get shot for my glory. Listen to the arrows shelling us still. We're still we're still getting smoked, but Hugh the Hammer just arrived on the scene, right? You bitches are about to get trucked. We can't stop them. I'll do some additional sound effects for you since Tail Worlds isn't going to hire me. This guy's a maniac! Oh my god! He's crushing us! Run for your life! they yell for help, and oh my god, die you bastard! Just fucking trash talks them. It's like they watched WWE and shit. I had one of our young subscribers, Patreon supporters, say it's not WWF, it's WWE. Wow, I'm so old, it used to be WWF. She's like, that's the World Wildlife Federation, WWF. I think that was Comet Royal. Yeah, well, I'm so old, there used to be a WWF. You can look it up on Wikipedia. Alright, smash them into next week. Killed one of their nobles. Actually, that's one of our nobles, but I don't give a fuck. 1,000 casualties here, but we killed, what did we kill? 4,000, right? So again, reinforcements didn't engage. You know where they are? I think they're going to be right outside this battle. Sometimes the reinforcement system, they don't appear in the battle. For some reason, they just appear right next to you. And if you're not, quick on your feet, you're going to get instantly captured by thousands of units. I'll be tempted to run if that's the case. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, see, there's 9,000 force bandits right there. We can't fight that. And I don't care about these Battanian forces. I want actually some looters. What I want is diversity with these episodes. I would love to see looters, sea bandits, or sea raiders, forest bandits, mountain bandits. I want some diversity to the enemy forces here. So I'm kind of tempted just to run. Not to mention, of course, we got the shit kicked out of us in that battle. Didn't, have fatalities, but our army's beat to shit. And these Battanian forces here, right? Who cares about them, right? They get mauled by forest bandits. We'll watch. And these forest bandits are too slow. Although, look at that shit. That 200 is chasing him down. That's 692. You're getting caught. You're too slow, and look who's coming in behind him, right? His big brother with 9,200. Now, there's a Southern Empire force here, too, right? We're at war with them, but I could declare peace. I can just go into the diplomacy menu. Hugh the Hammer is definitively a despot. I can actually ditch these Battanians, because I don't really want to take on 9,000 forest bandits or whatever they are. I don't think we can win that battle. So I can just go in here. Look at all our nobles. They're like, no, we oppose making peace at this time. Yeah, you'd think that I'll be a good general or whatever. Watch this. Shut the fuck up. I'm in charge. I'll show you some despotism here. In fact, I'm going to sacrifice these Battanians. I don't have any interest in joining like 300 or 400 Battanians and getting slaughtered here. I can just tell you, we can't win that. And this Southern Empire force has fresh troops, right? Not only that, but they have cavalry. The perfect army to fight alongside our archer heavy army. So, this is me, the despot here. We're just going to sacrifice these Battanians. In fact, we're going to get pleasure out of watching them get annihilated here. You guys really want me in charge? I don't think so. Now, like everybody, I would try to be benevolent and fucking all the other stuff. Napoleon had very altruistic designs when he started taking over the world. However, his ego went ballistic. He started banging mistresses left and right. He started being told by every single advisor, you're the smartest guy in the history of the world. You don't even need advice. He had all kinds of adulation. And the next thing you know, your ego gets so big that your rationale leaves. It's very much like the early stages of a relationship, right? You're not thinking rationally. And thinking rationally, you know what we're going to do here? I'm going to break these episodes up, I think. I think I'll save it right as we enter battle here. Our 2,000, or our 1,000 Southern Empire forces. Damn, they didn't join. Fuck, what are we going to do here? I'm fucked. You know what we'll do here? I can try to get away, and then after we get away, we're going to lose a bunch of troops, which is going to suck. But I can try to get away, and then these forces, I think they'll attack the Southern Empire that's there sieging, right? They are opportunivores. I just leave here, and I think they will, look at, they're heading right for them. And they move slowly. Our companion telling us they didn't like that. Shut the fuck up, stupid-ass companion. You're not even playing. All right, perfect, right? I just make them fight, but I'm going to break these episodes up, right? So I'm going to do my normal spiel here. In fact, how am I going to do this? I will over narrate some of the other part. I appreciate you fellas. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you friends next time.
Soldiers! Horse archers! Soldiers! Cavalry! Cavalry!